Okay, what is happening, everyone? We are back with videos, and this is the first video I've done since I hit 8K. So thank you all so much to everyone who has subscribed, who has left very positive comments. People who even actively disagree with my points have left positive comments, and I'm very grateful for you all, and I appreciate all the love. And the grind doesn't stop just because we hit 8K. We're gunning for 9K, and we're going straight to 10K. We're on the road to 10K. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. If you are subscribed, you know the drill. Jump in the comment section down below. Let me know if you agree with any of the points that I raise. And yeah, okay, so let's get into it. So what I want to talk about, well, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, and I'm not the only one to talk about this particular topic. Now, I try to be as objective as possible with these videos. And simply put, objective means it's fact. You can't dispute it. It's the objective reason for why something is happening. So, objectively speaking, Kenny was sidelined because they needed to push other characters along. How I feel about it, however, and that's what we're going to get into. This is going to be more of a feeling type of video. I'm not really happy about it. It's one of my main and probably only gripes with season 6 that I will happily be quite vocal about. Is what they've done with Kenny. I feel like Kenny has taken a massive backseat and is just kind of there. I think in the first episode, I really appreciated the route that they were going with him and Sean and Robbie and that dynamic with that trio that, you know, I and many others have been waiting to see ever since Sean was introduced. And I think Sean has one of the coldest lines in Cobra Kai's history, which is that has got to be the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, it's just, in a world full of karate gang war, he's the one that talks the most sense, you know? And I love the fact that they gave him such gray and nuance, where he's not just some petty thug that ended up in juvie. He's an older brother looking out for Kenny. You know, he's an older brother, and then as soon as he sees a certain face expression, a certain energy from his little brother, he knows exactly what's happened. He gives him some brotherly love, and it's a beautiful scene. So I'm hoping to see some more Sean and Kenny before the show's done, because I think it's really one of the bright sparks of the first part of season 6 for me. However, after that first episode, they don't really do a whole lot with Kenny, and I think the minute it starts is when Kenny joins Miyagi-Do. Now, when Kenny joins Miyagi-Do, the score's building to that crescendo. It's amazing. It's a beautiful moment. And the way Kenny walks into shot and the way Robbie walks up to him, it looks like they're on the verge of tears. Like, these are brothers. Like, this is like an older brother, a younger brother. You know, he took Kenny under his wing. That's his prodigy, you know, his little apprentice. And then all of a sudden, Robbie does this to fist bump him. And it just feels weird to me. I don't know what the reason for that was. Maybe they just felt it was more natural to do that. But for me personally, the way I would have directed it was give him a hug. That's your student. Like, you give him a hug. Like, Kenny looks like he's on the verge of, you know, crying, like on tears of acceptance. You know, please forgive me. I'm here to make up right for what I've wronged. And if there's anyone who can understand that, it would be Robbie. And if there's anyone who believes in second chances, it would be Miguel. But Kenny walks into the dojo, Robbie walks up to him, and then he just does this, and then they fist bump. It just feels so awkward to me. It's like the scene's still good, but and it's still got the feeling. It's just, I think they should have hugged, personally, even if it was like a dap and then a bro hug or something. Some kind of hug, some variation of hug. Like, what is this? And then from then on, we don't really get a whole lot with Kenny, and this is where it links into Devon's arc, and the next video is going to be on Devon, because I'm not happy with her character this season at all, because the minute Devon was introduced, the toxicity just went right through the roof. But specifically on Kenny caught a chicken, which is great, and that's awesome. Catching chickens is not bloody easy. However, the big however, Kenny should 100% be with the squad in Barcelona. Without question, he should be there. Now, I have no doubt in my mind in part 2 that he's going to be there. As all of you will have no doubt seen the behind the dojo, behind the scenes look. He's in a Miyagi-Do gi that has the American flag on it. So the likelihood that he ends up in Barcelona is quite high. And I think it's a massive missed opportunity to not have someone who literally has a move that can damn near kill you at a tournament where people can kill you. You know, I think it's a really huge missed opportunity. So I'm sure that will be rectified. But and again, because we're not used to getting Cobra Kai in 3x stages, we're used to getting it in one lump sum. That's probably why this feels this way. But as of right now, until we get more in part 2 and more in part 3, as of right now, I'm not really liking what they're doing with Kenny. I wasn't a huge fan of it in part 1. And I don't like not only just the not hugging, but the fact that, you know, this guy suffers because of laxatives. Like, that's how we take him out of the equation. Like, I really don't like that at all. It feels so contrived to me, and I just don't like it. And I know many people feel the same way. And for me, one of the best dynamics in the whole show is Robbie and Kenny. Like, I think ever since season 4, when Kenny was introduced, I was a huge advocate for not making Sean and Kenny related, just because it makes the universe feel small. But the way they executed it and the way they pulled it off was really good and really well done. And I have no doubt in my mind that all of these things will be paid off in part 2 and part 3. But my initial feeling of it right now is I'm not exactly happy about it. I would prefer Kenny to not only be with them, but Kenny to actually do something. He's just kind of standing there like a doormat. And then him and Anthony have their little back and forth, which was quite nice. Nice to see. Is in this scene here, it clearly shows them two having a back and forth. And I hate to say I was, you know, right, but I did say Anthony was going to get some shine, much to the dismay of everyone. Don't get me wrong, Anthony's not my favorite character, but how you write stories and how you write character arcs is you don't just leave them to the side. That's not what you do. Now, if it was any other property that was owned by a major corporation, can't say who they are, but we know, then yeah, I would expect that. But the big three are helming this. There's no way they'd leave Anthony with nothing. So I did say Anthony would get some shine. And then Kenny swiftly reminds him his place. So everything's fair. However, aside from him reminding Anthony of his place, aside from him, you know, catching a chicken, the momentum that they had in the first episode with Kenny and not knowing who he was anymore, I felt like that got lost. I felt like that really took a back seat to everything else that was going on. And I think this is a problem of the show having such a huge ensemble now. And I don't know if you guys can hear it, but someone's drilling nearby and it's really annoying, ruining my video. But essentially, they had such a momentum of it, and then they just fizzled out completely. And, you know, I know for a fact that there will be some more in store for Kenny going forward into part 2 and part 3. It's just in this immediate moment right now, I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not a huge fan of it. I feel like his whole purpose has taken a massive backseat, and I feel like that's a problem with part 1 in general. And I'm going to do probably a live stream about that, about my issues with part 1, because I do love it. I'm not trying to spread negativity, but I've got to be real. I've got to live my truth. And there are some things in part 1 which I'm just not, I'm not a fan of. And there's other things that are goofy as hell. And then other things I'm like, yeah, it's a good thing this is the final season. And then other things where I'm like, Jesus, what are you doing here? And I think Kenny is part of a larger problem where the show is so big now in terms of the ensemble and how many characters we have. Giving everyone a meaningful arc is damn near impossible. Now, I have no doubt in my mind they will pull it off. They will pull it off. They will give every character a satisfying conclusion. However, the focus is going to be on Miguel, Robbie, Tori, Sam, Hawk, Dimitri. Like, those guys are going to get the most payoff out of all the kids. And then it'll be Anthony and Kenny and Devin and whatever. But those 6 will be the ones that are paid off the most because they're the ones that we started with. I feel like if this show was running on for another 5 seasons, it wouldn't matter that Kenny's having this because you know the show's continuing. But because it's the final season, you want to see some kind of finality to his progression. And right now, I'm not really seeing it. Hopefully, part 2 will reveal that and will go into that. And I have no doubt it will. So fingers crossed. Guys and girls, jump in the comment section down below. Let me know if you agree with any of the points that I raised. And I feel like, you know, I want to see Kenny shine with his teacher. I want to see teacher and student. You know, if Robbie really is the Miyagi-Do captain, what better way to show that he is a leader by having his main apprentice with him? Like, I feel like it's a natural progression of things. And just on a quick side note before I end, I saw a comment the other day. When we started this show, Miguel was Jason from Power Rangers and Robbie was Tommy. They still are. Miguel was the Red Ranger. Tommy was the Green/White Ranger. Now, Robbie's the White Ranger in Tommy's leadership role, and Miguel was like the gold Zeo Ranger when Jason comes back. I thought that was just a really cool. I thought that was just a really cool thing that I put in at the end of this video. I thought that was really sick. I love pop culture cross-referencing. But guys and girls, I'll see you in another video soon. Onwards to 9K. Onwards to 9K.